Starladder Season 12 starts in February. Along with the Dota TV ticket, you'll get a set on Starladder, which includes a new hero face, changed weapon with luminous effects, and 2 alternate skins of your choice. On the store very soon. 12th season, Starladder TV.
Esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. Esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The grand finals of Starladder Season 11 right around the corner. We had a long break, but now we've got some awesome Dota along the way. The first best of 5, Empire coming in with a 1-game advantage. They'll be squaring off against Asus.Polar, and it'll get started in about half an hour. We got a little pregame coming up for you here, and then we're going to do the team introductions. They'll come through, they'll play the music, and it's always a lot of fun.
I want to know what the theme songs are. That's always been my favorite part of Starladder, is each team has their own little theme song, and
last time
I'm
EG
curious.
did Real Motherfucking G or something, and I remember it played in our headset the entire time, even though they only played like 10 seconds of it on stream. It was very jarring, very confusing. We'll see. Maybe they have a more balanced taste this time.
I would be let down if Team Empire didn't have some sort of Star Wars intro.
The Imperial March?
Too cliche.
Too cliche.
So?
Too cliche. It's like the Empire Alliance jokes. They get old, man.
Yeah. Whatever.
Merlini's all about originality when it comes to humor. If you're not original, he's not into it.
I mean, there's some, you can recycle some now and then, but there's some that are just recycled way too much. Then, you know.
Will the Empire strike back tonight, Merlini?
You know, like when you get a Chipotle bag, it's like 50% recycled paper. At least, you know, it's not 100% recycled. You need to recycle it sometime, or else it just becomes completely unusable.
That's a terrible analogy.
It is a terrible analogy. I'm sorry.
So
I was trying to be original, and it kind of sucked.
If
That's
Chipotle
okay.
bag was 100% recyclable, the world would be a better place. Not to say it's possible.
But you can't. It's not possible. It's not practical.
It's not practical to recycle 100% of the bag?
No.
Why not?
Never mind. This is just terrible.
Guys, take it easy.
This is awful.
We've already been derailed.
I like originality. Empire. What did they play last time? Oh wait, they were here They were in the finals 2 seasons ago.
Against DK in the grand finals. Yeah.
I don't remember what they played though. I have no idea.
Gosh, that was a while ago.
I was here and I don't remember.
Yeah.
I wasn't here, so I don't remember either.
I don't know.
What would you play if it was you and your team?
Yeah, I don't know.
What would your theme song be?
That's a difficult one. I'd have to think about that
like
one.
2006 MYM. What would your theme song be?
Shoot.
Is Katy Perry out then?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the other hard thing.
I would Taylor Swift it for sure.
Of course.
Shake It Off?
Shake It Off, 100%. Easy.
That doesn't pump you up.
That is a pump-up song.
It wouldn't pump me up for a grand final.
I would do Eminem, Not Afraid.
Not Afraid. Oh, that's a pretty good pump-up song.
that'd
Or
be
Rage
mine.
Against the Machine. That's pretty good pump-up music. It's pretty rockin'.
Okay.
Nice. What about you, Dakota?
I don't know. Maybe like Queen. A little bit of Queen.
Right. I could get on board with Queen.
Maybe just like Bohemian Rhapsody, like a nice classic.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody. That'd be good. I'd love to see somebody do that.
Some Iron Maiden. I don't know. Something that's just like thrashy and will hype you up, really.
All right.
So Meatloaf. I know you're into the Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Oh, my.
I feel like
that is a
you.
dream come true if they do Meatloaf. Oh, boy. All revved up and ready to go?
How angry would people be if it were Monster Cat? That'd be awesome.
Oh, God. Actually, a team may try that at one of these
I've
Starladders,
heard way
just
too
to
much
troll.
Monster Cat. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, God.
I've heard so much Monster Cat,
again.
I'm starting to like it. That's how much I've heard it.
Oh, God. I've not gotten
It's like
that
Stockholm Syndrome, but for Monster Cat. It's they've got a couple good jams.
Got,
that
like,
Hero remix is
four
pretty
or
good.
5 good jams,
that
I'd
one
say.
Mr. Wives remix is pretty good.
Yeah.
Coffins.
Oh, I hear it way too much. Way
The
too
pegboard nerds tend to have pretty bumping beats, you know.
It's fresh. It's funky fresh. Yes, dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Snoop Dogg. That's another. You said dog, and Snoop Dogg is. It tends to be rap. Or at least last time, both teams did rap songs that I'd never heard before.
Pumps you up. You want to psych out your opponent too.
Does it?
They're like, damn, these guys are hard.
It seemed to me they went for the songs that had the most F and N bombs that they could squish into that like 9 to 10 second window.
What they're gonna do to their opponents is so explicit. It cannot be
It cannot be said by the casters, only by the musicians. Yeah,
so,
very good.
Now that we got the intros and music hype out of the way, very crucial that we got that covered. Where do we take it from here?
Well, Empire versus Asus.Polar. Now, Empire, they come in with a one-game advantage, and that's pretty damn significant in a best-of-5. In a double limb format, like you were mentioning the other day, Merlini, it seems warranted. You need some sort of an advantage coming in. The rest factor doesn't quite work in this format, I think. So, I guess, how big of a deal is that one-game advantage? How likely is it that Asus.Polar can bring this back? Dota 2 Lounge is like 75 to 25 right now, based on just...
Empire looks a lot stronger than the last time I think these two teams squared off. I was actually casting that game. It was like a 2-1. I think I was casting with you. It was a 2-1 win, VP Polar, and Empire, they just went this like... You know, they have these early game strats, but this time it was like mega YOLO. We sometimes think of Illidan as a YOLO player, but Empire, they were just like balls to the wall, just diving nonstop and overextending very often, kind of like what we saw in VP Polar from game number 2. So they have had very crisp and clean play in the 6 games that we've seen them in, but I think that it's going to be a close series. I would be surprised if it weren't at least 3 games.
Okay.
Probably 4.
I'm hoping it'll not be just a 2-0 victory for Empire out of the gate. I will say Empire has been a little more crisp in their execution. That last series in particular, Asus.Polar, they won, but that second game was sloppy to say the least.
I don't know. Maybe I think that they were very comfortable with their lead, especially since they probably thought they outdrafted the opponent, and I don't know. A couple of times they just weren't on the same page. But that's the thing. They won even with making that many mistakes, which is...
Though I would argue that Empire is a much more formidable opponent than NIP in their current state right now.
But at the same time, remember, again, last time they faced off, VP Polar were the ones that actually played really well without very many mistakes, and Empire were the ones that made a lot. So yes,
wasn't that in the wake of all the traveling though? For right before. That was in DAC is what you're talking about, right?
It wasn't DAC.
No, it wasn't DAC. What was it?
I don't know. It was before DAC.
Before DAC, okay.
All right,
you guys have the
was it the
computer.
ES Portal BO5 you're talking about?
I think so.
They played a BO5 where VP Polar then got up 2-0, and then Empire came back and won 3-2, I think.
Yes, that's probably the series.
I think that was you two casting.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that one.
Maybe.
But that's the first time in recent history, like this past month, that Virtus.pro Polar has beat Empire. Empire's bested them like 7 or 8 times in the last month across best of ones and whatnot.
They were even going into that with like an 18-game win streak or something. They've been on a serious tear. And they have been here. They're still undefeated. I know that we say that we hope for not a 2-0 series, but if they do that, that means they just cleaned out Starladder without even taking a loss. And that would be also very impressive.
Yeah. They've only played 6 matches this Starladder, 6 games, 6 wins.
How does that affect things? Like you playing 6 games versus VP Polar, who's played 10 games?
Well, there is something to be said for that momentum coming through the losers bracket. It seems to vary from team to team. Some teams would prefer to have the rest, go through the upper bracket, be able to see your opponents play and what they're drafting and how they work their way up to the grand finals. Other teams would rather actually grind their way through the lower bracket. I remember talking to Black about that at the summit, and he said we prefer the lower bracket. We like the momentum if we can just keep. Well, not the we don't. Said that wrong. We don't like the lower bracket. Yeah. We like playing more games. We don't like coming in cold. We like to have a warm-up game, get to the finals. You're already hyped up. You're feeling good. The team momentum's there, and that's where he says they really.
I think 6.
It's like for Black. I feel like if it's guaranteed you're gonna be in the grand finals, like if you know that from the get-go, it sounds like he'd rather do so through the lower bracket.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think 6 games is enough to kind of ascertain their strategy. They've run Beastmaster twice, and I think they've won a couple of games with Troll. So it's just all about the early game, all about pushing towers. Vision, too, is really important with that Beastmaster Hawk. So on the other side, we have VP Polar, 10 games. They've won a couple times with Drow Ranger, Morphling, more of the same. And we've seen a couple of weak drafts from them, too. But I think it's a large enough sample so that both teams can get like a good feel of what to expect from the other team.
Both teams have been pretty versatile with their hero picks. The carry players in particular, Illidan has played a different hero every game except that last match. That was the second time he played the Drow Ranger. But there's been huge versatility there. And same on the other side of the coin. Ban-wise, what are we looking at here? I feel like you can't really ban around the carries so much unless it's a specific counter.
Ban Troll if you're Polar. Ban
the
Wisp
Yoki
if
Axe,
you're second pick.
Oh, the Yoki Axe.
That's the scary
The
thing.
problem is Empire have first pick. You want to be banning out the Wisp, and then you either ban the Troll or the Axe. They're probably getting 1 or 2 of those.
I think
their
they're
first
okay
pick.
with giving away Axe if they get Brew, though.
Yeah.
So Empire probably look to ban Brew. I don't think they play Brew very often. So
They do not.
Yeah, Empire should ban Brew, Polar should ban Troll, and then second pick should ban Wisp. And other one, I don't know. We've seen a lot of Dazzle bans.
And the other thing is, I mean, we mentioned Empire's only played 6 games. None of those 6 games they got a Wisp. So is that something where Asus.Polar, if they lose a game, get down 2-0, they just say, screw it, let's just give them a Wisp. End of the day, they haven't played a match with Wisp in a long time. So maybe they're a bit rusty. Maybe they're just not ready to play with a Wisp. Is that something you think a team could take a chance with?
I think so. Yeah, why not?
Okay. I think you really want to keep it out of the hands of FNG, though. For Empire, if they're not planning on picking the Wisp, they really need to ban that.
It's a much bigger
out.
deal, I think, if Polar gets it.
Yeah, I think giving Empire a Wisp, it's less of a kind of core strategy for them. They do the Wisp tiny, but it's not like a do it all the time kind of thing. So to me, maybe a bit more beatable.
Yeah, I believe Empire is the team that only prioritizes Wisp if they can do Wisp Tiny. That's the only combo they run. They're not one of those, we'll get the Wisp and then figure it out later. No Tony, no Wisp.
They always open with the 1-2. That's the thing.
Another key hero for Empire, the Rubik. They've been very successful with him on this patch and also in this tournament. So, not a first ban-worthy hero, but something to keep on the back burner that they'll scoop it up if the situation feels right.
Usually second phase. They have the option to just take it. The draft is just going to be huge altogether. I feel like regardless, something is going to get by. That has been very, very impressive thus far. Whether it's the Axe, whether it's that Rubik, whether it's FNG's Wisp, then you're letting a Brew through. Something's always going to slip through. And then you have to hope got to think one step ahead. That just anticipate that if you're letting something through, you're already going to be looking into the second phase as far as how to counter it back.
I have a couple other heroes here. Slark, Drow. I think Empire's going to ban Slark.
Yeah, second stage ban. That's the thing. Illidan, sure, he's played 9 different heroes. He's very versatile, but that's because people are banning out his Slark. If Slark was in the pool more often, I feel like we would have had at least 3 or 4 more Slark games out of Illidan. It's his best hero and something which teams are just banning.
That poor Drow stat line right there. Yeah, that got handled in their last game.
Still pulled out with a big W.
Yeah, that's what counts.
That's the thing. Illidan went like 0-11, and his KDA has still been phenomenal in general.
Oh, yeah.
You go back to yesterday, his Morphling.
Now he was 1-11. Come on, give him some credit. He had that 1 kill at the end.
Sorry. I stopped watching the supports at that point, you know. I was watching the real carry, Lil Hardy. He was going up big on that Visage.
That Visage, dude. Oh, that cheese. Another hero that Virtus.Pro/Polar have liked to pull out is the Night Stalker. They like to do this kind of face rush, very aggressive, those really tanky frontliner type strategies, if it allows. And they love to do the Night Stalker Dazzle combo in particular. Night Stalker, we've seen it a little bit this tournament. How much of a threat is that? Should Empire be scared of the Night Stalker?
I definitely think so, because they choose to pick really timely engages, and you know they're very good about choosing when and when not to initiate, and they don't commit past towers. And I think if VP Polar take the fight in the mid game, it's just so important to get that jump. And Night Stalker just makes it extremely easy. He's also a pretty difficult off lane to zone out, and we've seen Silent go very uncontested in terms of farm in the majority of the games. Actually, Illidan too, but still, I think they can put pressure on Silent with the Night Stalker.
One of the other things that Empire has been doing a lot, not so much in this tournament, but on this patch, is just sacking the offlane right away, going straight in the jungle. They've even done some Axe just right into the jungle at level 1. Virtus.Pro/Polar do their offlane a bit differently, and they're one of these teams that's been prioritizing that puck in the offlane to limited success, I think is fair to say.
Yeah. The Phobos puck has been a hit or miss, to say the least. I mean, Puck in general as a hero is still only got the 1 win this tournament, so
the safe lane win.
I think teams will be staying away from the Puck, except maybe as a 4th or 5th pick if they feel like it really fits. It's good when you have a Drow Ranger. I feel that's when Puck in the off lane's especially strong, but I think you have to have the right game for the Puck to be viable. There's a lot of heroes good at dealing with it, so.
Well, maybe worth mentioning the Invoker here for Resolution, a Resolution Classic. We've seen 2 Invokers this tournament. One of them was on Resolution. And a hero they're definitely not afraid to pull out. Usually a little later in the draft, 4th, 5th pick. For example, if they go up against the Dusa, the Quaswex Invoker, very powerful. But they could also just, do a good old-fashioned Exort Invoker and
I think it's one of his best heroes.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Resolution really came to prominence, is with his, 18-minute Midas Necro 3, sometimes even earlier. It was almost standard for him.
Yeah. He was one of the first players to go for that Yule's build as well, to set up the Sunstrike, Deafening Blast Meteor combos too. So is a possibility. The other hero I think of his, which has been really good, is his PA. I think PA is a hero we're going to see at least one of these games of this series. It matches up well against some of Illidan's more carries of choice, does well in the mid lane in general. So I think PA is a hero that we could probably expect to see some of in this finals.
In that last series, we got to see Virtus.Polar a little more versatility. Asus.Polar still got to break that Virtus.Polar habit. The Undying, that last pick. Second Undying, we saw this tournament. Merlini, talk to us about Undying a little.
Yeah,
he's really good against Axe.
Do you want to talk about Undying, Dakota?
I was going to say the exact same thing. It's good against Axe. And Yoki's got a good Axe. So if they need to pull it out on Mag, they did in the previous series, they'll just do it again.
It's really good at protecting when they all in on a hero. They all did on Drow a lot last game, and it just completely wrecked them. If you don't get the kill on her, you're going to lose the fight. Even if you do get the kill on her, you're still probably going to lose the fight because everyone has to walk into the tombstone. Disables your blinks. I mean, Zeus was kind of useless. If he blinks in, he's going to die, and if he doesn't go in, he doesn't do any damage. So it takes out most of those really weak heroes, and on top of that, they had a lot of slows. We talked about, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 slows that game, and I don't know, the damage buff is nice on the ultimate, and I'm surprised it's not been picked a little bit more.
Yeah, it was buffed a little bit in 6.83, plus 1 armor to that too.
The Sorip got a big buff as well. Yeah. That's where I saw NIP. They picked Undying yesterday. They didn't go Soul Rip. The new level 1, level 2 Soul Rip is incredible. It's been like doubled in potency. So. Was a bit surprised to see them go for like a max decay tombstone, but the way it was played earlier by Asus.Polar is, I feel like the 1-1-3 build is the way to go.
It's really important to stop that first Coaling Blade. Once he gets that first Coaling Blade, everyone's head just flies off, and everyone gets that attack speed buff, the move speed buff, and
whoa! Sorry, we had an earthquake there. It's crazy. And I just go ahead. Just like out the corner of my eye.
In the venue.
I know, the corner of my eye, we're like all shifting. I'm getting a bit seasick here, but
yeah, the venue completely full. You can see a little bit in the background, but we've got a full house, all the VIP seating set up, and hey, this is a big matchup. This is not the CIS El Clasico as we were calling Empire Na'Vi, but 2 very popular teams in this region, and there's a lot of fans here already.
The 2 favorites going into the tournament.
Yep,
This is the 2 teams I expected to qualify out of the Dota 2 Asia Championship. To me, they were the 2 teams in the best form. They've been winning most tournaments, so expected these 2 teams to qualify for DAC. They didn't do that, but here they are at Starladder in the finals. So
yeah, absolutely. So we're about to do our team introductions here. It looks like you can see Vlad on the stage behind us. There will not be an English introduction, so basically we're going to be doing commentary over the opening here and just kind of guiding you through the whole experience.
Work on your Russian.
Yeah.
We'll give the play-by-play of Vlad. Here he is, Vlad moving up onto the stage.
Oh, everyone's actually getting up on the action
right
now.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to stand up with them.
Oh, yeah, it's getting hype. It's getting hype. So this is what's cool. They make the whole little tunnel, and then the players come in, hands out, celebrity style. And
like WrestleMania
I hope they make a pit stop by the caster desk over here. I wouldn't mind.
They have good camera shots, too.
They do. The production value, hashtag production value. They've got the mobile cameras going. It's going to be good. So the best of 5 series, folks, scheduled to get started in about 10 minutes. We're just heating up. If you're just sitting down, Empire versus Asus.Polar around the corner. This is the conclusion of the Starladder Season 11 LAN Finals. I can't believe it's over already. I feel like we just got here.
This has been the shortest LAN event I've ever been to as far as just how quick it's gone by. I don't know. Everything's gone so smoothly.
Yeah.
Starladder have done an awesome job with the organization. The games have all been super exciting. And
all right, here we go. Asus.Polar on their way in.
FNG, their captain, leading out the front.
Illidan shortly behind. And
this is a team that's been breaking records through this as well, man. They are good. Hyped up, warmed up. They got that really nice 2-0 win earlier.
FNG, the Stone Cold Killer in the front lines, leading the team.
Mag played a lot of Scent last Starladder. This time he's very versatile.
Absolutely.
Which team does the crowd like more? I mean, I guess we'll see in a second.
I think maybe slightly Empire, just because of how many Starladders they've been to. They've been in 3 grand finals already, yet to win a grand final. But Asus.Polar, they're kind of the more trendy team. Illidan definitely a big star. I mean, at the same time, Empire have got 3 really young star players as well, with Yoki, Aloha Dance, and Resolution. They're all like 18 years old, so it's hard to say. Well, maybe we'll hear how loud the cheer is for Empire when they come out and get a bit of an idea, but this is exciting stuff.
Yeah, it really is. I love that Starladder do these fun intros. It's cool for the players, too. It makes them feel a little more pumped up, amped coming into the finals.
Oh, yeah.
To bring your A game. That's what we're talking about.
I'm trying to listen to Vlad.
Sorry, are you going to translate for us?
Yeah, please.
I wish.
Here we've got the fan favorites, Empire. I can only imagine what he's saying.
I'm sure Asus has got to be happy. This has been Polar's sponsor debut with Asus, and they've already been very impressive. But
here we go. Team Empire on their way in.
Silent leading out the front. There's the core. There's Yoki. Don't give that guy an axe. He will dunk
Ну и
in your
давайте,
face.
срываем блоки. Empire!
Definitely Empire.
Yeah, they're pretty hyped.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to allow one Empire Strikes Back joke this series, guys.
Only one?
Only one.
Use it wisely, God.
One each or one for the two of us? We may have to fight over rights for it.
One each. Okay,
It was
good.
said by
Okay.
Officer Wu.
Supposed to be electronic music. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty hyped. I like that.
All right, no gangster rap this go around,
Ну что
but
ж, мне остается только
you know.
попросить вас еще раз поддержать обе команды. Ваши аплодисменты
Man, that
гранд-финалистам.
couldn't have asked for two more impressive teams to go toe-to-toe here at the end.
no, definitely not. It's going to be a good finals, even if it's a 2-0 and Empire take it. I'm sure it's going to be action-packed. You know, I got a lot of tweets from people saying, how can you be so hyped up for all these 2-0 series? I'm like, these are like the most exciting 2-0s I've ever seen. Even though it seems like stomps on paper, they've been pretty action-packed, pretty close games, and it's hard not to get hyped up when you see that kind of high-octane Dota.
And we had a lot of chances where it's like one team gets 2-0'd and then they go to that lower bracket and they pull out a 2-0 themselves. So it's not like just teams constantly get stomped to get out, minus Hellraisers and Power Rangers, I suppose. But still, along the way to get to this pinnacle point, we've had some great storylines. We had some teams show some potential and probably make a lot of new fans.
Yeah, absolutely. So should be momentarily. We're going to load in momentarily here.
The crazy
Look at
stat
some
there,
team
the
stats.
average game time for these two teams. Empire, 35 minutes. Asus.Polar, 42 minutes. That's the biggest difference there. I mean, you
Well,
look at the kills, deaths, and all that.
They probably have a couple of Deuce games in there.
yeah,
which
that's very
is
true.
Very.
That's like guaranteed 45 minutes plus.
Yeah.
And I mean, Empire, like we've talked about, they went 2-0 all the way through, undefeated. A lot of their games were pretty damn quick. They've played some pretty aggressive lineups, and a lot of their wins have come about earlier rather than later. And I think
Well, that's just because they crushed their opponent.
yeah, I think like the average match time on this patch is 37, 38 minutes. So Empire definitely taking victories a little bit more quickly than the average.
Man, they look psyched up and ready.
Yeah.
Big deal. This is where it counts. The nerves.
Yeah, so happy to see FNG on a team where it seems like he really is finding home, fitting in, and
Yeah, he's
you know,
he's high-fiving everyone after all the wins.
yeah, it's nice to see. You know, you see some teams they do the huddle beforehand, and it's always nice to see that team dynamic and having some positive momentum.
I think my favorite thing about these two teams, I look at them and be like, these teams are sticking together till TI5. I don't see any need for change in either roster. I think there's only improvement to come, especially you look at a team like Empire with all the young talent they've got. They've got a ton of potential. And you look at Asus.Polar, who've just been probably the slightly more impressive team as far as results. Doing well at D2L, going to a lot of different big-name tournaments. So to me, these are two teams who are going to be in it for the long run, playing towards TI5, and very likely to be some of the kind of top European contenders there.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that point in the season of Dota 2 where you got to start thinking about TI5 invites, and that roster shuffle can be definitely a dagger in the back on that front.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, I would definitely agree with you there, Godz.
I mean, Empire didn't even finish top 8 at TI, and a lot of the top 8 teams have actually gone through a lot of shuffles, which is a little strange to think about.
yeah, that is.
So what would you think now then, Ben? If
About
we were
what?
to take this Empire squad, put them against your Cloud9, your Secret, your EG, in a best of 3, do you think they might be able to take it?
I haven't seen enough of the new teams.
Secret's yet to play a single match with their new
That's
roster.
true.
We don't know.
Cloud9
that's a
only
big thing.
played the qualifiers for DAC.
Where Fire almost beat them.
DAC is going to be a big platform to
I
decide
think
a lot of that.
I would both these teams a tier 1 team. I would put these two teams on the same level as like Secret, Cloud9, EG for now. At least it's hard to say where those teams are going with I guess their new rosters, but I would say without a doubt these two teams from Starladder are world
They're
class.
contenders.
Yeah,
They're
already
absolutely
have-
contenders.
They've built up
Absolutely.
that chemistry already.
The power of friendship, man. There's something to be said for having that dynamic when you can just work well with each other, know what to expect, and I don't know. Dota's not a game of raw talent. There's a lot of team dynamic communication that goes into the mix.
Yeah.
So it looks like we are about ready to load in to our first game. Teams are given the green light that they are ready to rock and roll. Again, worth reiterating that Empire start one game up in this best-of-5 series, and going to refresh the bets to see what the fans are thinking. Probably still pretty Empire favorite, and yeah, it hasn't changed much. About 73-27 in favor of Empire. Merlini, value bet here?
I don't know. In a best of 1-0, best of 5, it's about right. I'd probably give VP.Polar a little bit more than
Yeah.
that.
I'd say like maybe 65-35, maybe 70-30, but it's pretty accurate.
I mean, what if it were not a one-game advantage? It'd probably still be like 60-40 Empire. So
Yeah.
seems
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. So, predictions. Maybe that's what we need to do. One last round of predictions so we have a little more ammunition for the flamethrowers. Kyle, guys, start us off. What are you thinking? Final call for this series.
I'm going to say 2-1 Empire.
It's a BO5, man.
They have the one advantage.
Okay, so 3-1.
3-1
Okay,
Empire.
yeah.
Okay.
The final score. Gotcha.
Okay. Merlini?
I'll say 3-2 Empire.
Going all the way, huh? Honestly, I think it's going to be a 2-0. I think Empire is going to go undefeated this entire tournament and take a 3-0 finals here.
Well, I was going to say this even if you asked me first. I think Asus.Polar taking it 3-2. I think we're in for full 5 games or 4 games, and I think Asus.Polar are going to be the ones coming out on top.
All right. Well, per usual here, we've all got a different idea of what's going to happen, and there can only be one winner, boys.
Empire just have all these young players. I mean, this is a big stage to be playing on. I feel like the nerves may just get to them.
They were here on the finals not too long ago.
Though Yoki and Aloha Dance have they?
not with Yoki and Aloha Dance. So.
Yeah, so it's
and they've
been
some of their
solid.
stars.
That's
I don't
to me. That's almost their 2 best players in some ways. And sure, they've been.
What about
proving
VP Polar? VP Polar haven't been on the big stage.
They've been played at D2L, but yeah, it definitely affects both teams. I feel like Asus.Polar just have looked a bit more composed in general. FNG, very chill, relaxed guy. I don't know. Maybe it's a complete hunch from me, but here we go. Game 1 draft.
Very chill, relaxed guy. Have you spent a lot of time talking to FNG?
No, I haven't. You have, though.
I actually have. Last Starladder, when we went out with Velat and the crew, FNG came with us, and I actually talked to him for a good hour or so just about Dota and his time with Na'Vi, and I think this team really does seem like a good fit just based on his attitude, and he expressed some uncomfort. Didn't really like the team dynamic of Na'Vi so much, so really seeing him shine here warms my heart just a pinch. But we got our first bans coming out. Wisp taken out by Asus.Polar, and the Visage banned out by Team Empire.
I did not see the Visage ban coming.
Yeah, that's intriguing. And you saw the statistic, at least so far. 2 games, 100%. We're not seeing a drow yet. Definitely a respect ban, of course.
I think it's more just worried about Asus.Polar doing the Drow Visage in the first 2, and it's especially strong. Obviously, they're on the dire side. That's really the only time you want to do that in. Both of Empire's hero bans are kind of targeted at those kind of Roshan-based strategies. So.
Yep. So Vengeful Spirit also taken out of the pool. The popular support. FNG's 2 most played heroes not going to be available. The Wisp as well as the Venge.
Is it going to be the Troll ban? Troll ban or Troll pick?
Or the Brew.
Or the Axe.
Troll, Brew, Axe, yeah.
There's a lot of options here.
I mean, Empire, I said, not a big Brew team.
Ooh. Ancient Apparition. Oh, my.
We're going to have a lot of signature heroes, it looks like, potentially
well,
this draft.
Like maybe Asus.Polar say, look, you can have the Troll, but we'll get the Axe then, saying they potentially want one of those 2 heroes.
Maybe none of the above.
I mean, do they have something prepared to deal with a Troll pick?
I mean, it is very possible both these teams have some pocket strats, some new ideas, and we're going to see something totally different based on these bans. That seems like a real possibility.
Yeah, definitely maybe from the side of Empire. They have some flexibility. They have the extra game. They want an experiment. We could see it here right out of the gate.
So time will tell what the opener is. Maybe just counting their blessings, trying to figure out which core they want to prioritize here.
You know something that we haven't seen is Necrophos. I'm very surprised that we haven't seen more Necrophos. And I'm thinking about why they banned AA, and it might be because they're going for a push strat even with a Drow and minus the Visage, which is not terribly unpopular.
I mean, we saw something similar to that, I'm forgetting which tournament, it might have been in DAC, where it was like a Necrophos, Witch Doctor, Dazzle kind of a lineup, and the sustain is just insane. So much healing. Once you get those urns up and some arcane boots, you can just keep sieging nonstop.
Makes me think damage for Troll.
Possibly Dazzle or a Madden is probably something that's going to be picked up here from Polar.
Both these teams like their Dazzle, and that to me is like a Dazzle Axe kind of opening from Asus.Polar wouldn't surprise me. They do like the Brew. If they're going push strat, I feel like you get the Brew here. I feel like that's where you want to start things off.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Brew is he fits any kind of playstyle or strategy, but
it forces Troll to get BKB.
I guess it depends, because maybe they were hoping to get something like a DK Phobos Zeus or something like that's maybe where they feel confident. So it's like, well, the Brew's more of an opening pick. We can't get the Zeus in the first 2.
They can do a Mag Brew as well.
Yeah. Phobos has also played Spirit Breaker.
Oh, just in case.
Has it always been Phobos, or has Mag played some of the Spirit Breaker?
Mag has played some.
It's gone back and forth.
Yeah.
But Spirit Breaker, one of those heroes, maybe a second stage ban. I don't know if the hero is that scary. I feel like Empire have got really good teamwork coordination, and is maybe a hero they're just not going to be too worried about.
Well, there's the Brewmaster first pick for Asus.Polar. And now they'll think about the second.
There's a limited support pool,
Yeah,
especially
like,
with 4 bans out already.
Do you get something like the Disruptor here even?
I think you go for Dazzle.
Yeah,
Just
Dazzle,
straight
Disruptor
Dazzle
come to
right
mind.
Oh, actually, they could do Axe.
What if they take away the Rubik?
I would say Rubik's still in the pool.
I mean, otherwise, Empire, I wouldn't be surprised if they consider grabbing up the Rubik in the second phase.
Yeah.
The Rubik not as scary. Like, you don't mind if Empire second pick Rubik because they're not going to get like that Rubik AA support duo, which has like a 75% win rate or something ridiculous. So,
But Rubik is fun against Brew. I like that.
Skyrath is also in the pool, something Empire could consider second picking here. Traditionally very good against the Brewmaster.
Yeah. The silence, so Disruptor also good against the Brew.
the Witch Doctor is also the kind of natural support counter to the Brewmaster. The Cask against the Brewmaster. And something Empire haven't done too much of, but we've seen a lot of teams just instantly go Witch Doctor after Brew's been picked up.
Well, here we see Lion, the second pick for Asus.Polar, another support that's been pretty popular this tournament. That Blink Hex initiation, so potent.
And Empire are going to go Axe.
There's the
The
Axe.
Yoki Axe makes it return.
So good.
Yep, probably a Yoki Axe, possibly a Resolution Troll Warlord. This is the beginning of that scary face rush strategy they love to do. Get those Blink Daggers up, go charging in, and, well, blind them all with those whirling axes.
She loves the axe, apparently.
Yeah.
This guy's about it. Hell yeah.
There we go. Some Starladder fans getting pumped up.
Just so you know, it's a
see
real
that
crowd.
guy with the eyes in the back? Yeah, those googly eyes.
Nice, dude. Call out that guy.
No. He did it intentionally.
Oh.
He did it intentionally.
Just want to show everyone that it's actually a real crowd.
There are actually people here in the venue. This is an actual LAN finals.
Yeah. So you're giving away Axe Troll, two of Empire's. Empire would be probably thrilled to have gotten these heroes early in the tournament. What kind of heroes did Asus.Polar maybe have planned to deal with these, do you feel, Merlini?
I think Brew's already pretty good versus both of them. So that's the first step. Second, just don't draft Lycan. I think Lycan will just get crushed by these two heroes.
Yeah. Empire
Probably ban Dazzle, I would say, too.
Yeah. There's going to be very few support options left. You ban the Dazzle, you ban a Rubik or a Disruptor. Suddenly supports are very limited. Empire are not going to have the strong lanes and supports they're used to having.
Yeah, there's that third ban on the Dazzle from Asus.Polar. Makes a lot of sense there. I feel like Asus.Polar need to get some beefy heroes. This is where you need to kind of stay away from that Dro Visage kind of a style where the Blink brothers can just hop on top of her.
Juggernaut's in the pool, something else that's been relatively popular amongst a lot of the teams.
I don't think Empire can't take it, though. I guess technically they could have put like Resolution on Troll and do a Jug.
There's
your
that
Spirit
ban
Breaker
out. The
ban.
Spirit Breaker.
Good call, Dakota.
That hero is just scary, man. You just don't know where he could be coming from. You're always caught in the dark, and it's just the mind games. Similar to the way you see like Enigma. The Black Hole's great, but almost the more popular thing is the fact that it could be coming at any moment.
Do you feel like you need to ban an Omni Knight here? That's something Empire did once with the Axe, and it could fill that kind of 4-position support role.
There's a lot of... I think Omni is definitely a potent threat here.
We did see them even second pick Omni in that series against NIP. It was an Axe Omni opener. Also, Silencer still in the pool, another support that Empire would like to run for Always Want to Fly, but they've also put him in that one position played by Silent. There's the Omni ban, though.
So you're running low on these defensive supports. So Baden is probably the next one that pops up into my mind that could kind of fill the shoes that Dazzle/Omni
Witch Doctor.
do. Witch Doctor, yeah, there's good sustain there. It's great against the Brew as well. That'd be a solid.
Skyrath's also pretty good with X. So there's, even though there's a lot banned, there's still a lot of
They're
good
trying
ones
to
left.
kind of cripple the lanes, I feel, of Empire, because the Axe with the Dazzle Omni Knight's really good in the lanes. The Abbot on the lane, it keeps the Axe alive maybe, but it's less potent as far as killing power goes.
And that Rubik's still there.
There's the
Here you go.
Zeus pick from
The
Asus.Polar.
Zeus. So they get this with the Brew, which does make it a mag Brew most likely.
I like this a lot. They have a lot of magic damage to deal with the Axe, which if he goes for like a Tranquil into a Blink build, he has like 1,000 HP, which just makes it extremely easy for him to die to like a Bolt, Zeus Ult, and a Lion Finger.
If he doesn't catch like Zeus with a Blink Call, he's just screwed, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's also drafting like a heavy range lineup so that people don't clump. Like even last time in Polar versus Nip, we saw like just 2 melee heroes. They got completely owned by the Axe if there's one initiate. And just having a lot of range heroes prevents that from happening, generally.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of Illidan heroes we get. The Slack's still in the pool. I'm not sure if it's the best against Axe Troll, though.
There's that
Almost
Witch
feels like-
Doctor.
Yeah. Is this a Morphling game? I feel like this could be a good Morphling game.
Morphling's good here. He has a lot of HP. Very rarely will get cold.
If
he
he
has a lot of armor.
Even if he gets cold, he just morphs strength and should be fine.
Maybe later, though. I don't think they need to pick it now. And also, they banned out AA, so Morphling is really good here.
Yeah. So
I
Asus
think it
Polar.
might struggle in lane.
Yeah. There's a small chance Asus.Polar could be looking at an aggro try here to secure some farm on that Brewmaster if they put him in the safe lane. Maybe not particularly likely, but
it's
an option.
really hard to win an aggro try against a troll, especially with the line support. I think the chances of that is like very, very.
You're thinking
slim.
Troll will not be mid and in the safe lane?
Oh, aggro troll for Empire or for Polar?
I'm thinking Asus.Polar would go aggro try.
Polar cannot aggro try versus troll.
I think the risky thing also is then you potentially allow Yoki to have free will in that off lane, and we already know what he can do with that.
It depends on the matchup. We could see them run the Ursa again and then pair Ursa versus Axe in that aggro try, but I still think their aggro try is really, really weak. It depends on whether they think Troll is going to go mid, like you said, or safe lane.
Yeah.
I think Empire haven't even committed to either yet. They've done both in the past, so this tournament they've had Resolution play at once and Silent play at once, so I think Empire are keeping
a lot of flexibility.
The Ursa. I like the idea of the Ursa. They did run it last time against an Axe, I believe, and on Dire's side.
It's not good against the Whirling Axes, though.
That's true.
Ooh.
That's where...
We got a first timer.
Okay.
Wraith King, the 4th pick for Asus.Polar.
Nice and spicy.
Somewhat offers the same as Abaddon, maybe not the extra sustain, but the durability factor and potentially long-winded
Is it
fights.
support or carries? I was thinking this
sure.
is an Illidan hero, but maybe not.
It's...
If it's not an Illidan hero, then I don't know. I casually throw out the idea of a Bristleback. These are heroes who like long duration fights. Wraith King obviously is going to be in it for the long haul.
Oh my! Tusk.
Okay, so Empire. I said they got flexibility and this one game advantage. Maybe they pull out something funky and fresh. A Tusk.
So what is the value of Tusk in general? We saw him once earlier. It was kind of a disaster. I would imagine he'll be on the 4 playing that kind of support role. Where does Tusk fit into this draft?
It's really good with a lot of melee heroes with a lot of melee abilities. And Axe and Troll are probably two of the best ones to pair with a Tusk. The Snowball is I think Tusk is really underrated. And yeah, sure, he didn't work out that one time. But he is still really good, I feel like. The Snowball defensive capabilities is insane. If someone gets hexed, you can just turn it right around and just absolutely own the Lion or the Zeus with the Snowball Initiate. Also, you can kite around the Wraith King really easily.
The Sigil.
They have Casks, they have Sigil. Like, even just like Battle Hungering him is...
Do not underestimate that Frozen Sigil. Not only the movement slow, but the attack speed slow can be crippling in team fights if it's left unchecked, hidden in the trees, something like that.
The problem is they didn't ban Invoker, so I think that Resolution might just play Invoker as their last.
I think they need some kind of more high-impact damage-dealing hero, so...
Yeah, I mean, personally don't think Wraith King is that great here, especially when there's 3 picks left. I think he's great as a last pick, or if you already banned that Invoker, but especially with Resolution being one of the best Invoker players.
Does he play any Viper at all?
Who?
Resolution?
Generally not. He has playmaker heroes that have abilities.
Yeah, not really a go-to. I mean, I'm sure he could, but the Warlock for Asus.Polar.
I think this is a core Warlock.
Damn, that's spicy.
I don't know. Wraith King, I feel, as a core just doesn't match up well against this draft, so this to me is a farming Warlock.
Damn, I like this.
I'm inclined to agree with you. This could be very scary.
One of the best ways to stop a face rush strat.
Oh my god. Fatal Bonds against like the 3 melee heroes like rolling in. You just get everyone in the Fatal Bonds, drop the rock, and...
Zeus ult.
Yeah, if I was saying Fatal Bonds with Zeus and all that AoE damage, this could get really scary really fast.
This is hard to fight into, and that's what Empire were looking to do maybe with the Axe and the Snowball from the Tusk.
They have to get BKBs.
And the Invoker for Resolution.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't ban it last. I guess they aren't scared of it because that was one of the more obvious picks. But
Illidan, Warlock, ladies and gentlemen.
I think he's played this once or twice before, a while ago, but I had this vague memory of him actually playing Warlock before in a core role. He used back with the old like Virtus Pro team. He used to play some weird farming heroes. Like everyone will remember the TI4 wildcard match where he played a farming Skywrath mage. Even they lost that game to MVP, and he plays some weird farming heroes.
Certainly does. All right, an interesting draft for Game 1 of this Best of 5 series. Merlini, I want to know who you think has the better draft here.
I don't know. I like both. I think without the Invoker, I would have liked Polar's more, but with the Invoker, I think he can offer a lot. He can control Brew, he can control the Wraith King, and he can also buy time for those heroes to buy BKBs. And once Empire gets BKBs, it's going to be really tough for Polar.
Yeah. Mana drain against the Wraith King, obviously quite good, and
I mean, just like Cold Snap and Tornado and Deafening Blast and Ice Wall, like those are just hell for a melee carry or even melee supports.
Prepare for battle.
On top of EMP.
All
EMP's
right.
nasty.
So game number 1. Let's hop into it. And Parker, we're going to take it away. Radiant side, we've got Empire. It's a best of 5. The admin's slacking a little bit here. Don't let that best of 3 fool you, folks. They are not 1 game away from victory, but indeed 2 games away.
Shout out to Empire, Mr. Twitter. The wonderful, beloved Empire Twitter guy.
Uh-oh. Merlini is causing chaos here all over the desk. But we've got a 5-hero smoke, Parker, to start things off. Empire, they're moving into the jungle. It's going to be Aloha Dance on the Tusk. Silent takes the Troll Warlord. They have swapped it around. Yoki on the Axe. That puts Resolution on the Invoker. And that will leave Always Want to Fly on the Witch Doctor. Smoke, not going to yield a kill early on. They still have not put any wards down. But they are continuing to venture through. Smoke soon to pop. Will they find anyone? Does not appear so unless Lil Hardy walks into the danger zone. There's the first ward coming down. And get some vision into the lane.
Yeah, they've seen the Wraith King here up top. We've got a bit of an idea of what's going to be going on with the Asus.Polar lanes, although they haven't spotted out Phobos yet, who is actually going to be going a safe lane Zeus here. So, kind of peculiar stuff coming out from the Asus.Polar side. Illidan will be going mid on the Warlock, and it looks like Mag on the Brewmaster will be headed down bottom lane. So, not a surprise as far as Brew's lanes goes, but Illidan and Phobos switching things up.
Yeah, a lot of versatility coming out of these teams. This is the time to pull out the pocket strats if you've got them, and well, we're going to have a little pause to get this one started as FNG needs a moment here. So it will be off-lane Brewmaster, though it seems like he could be up against the solo lane. Yoki is headed to the safe lane on the Axe, and Empire will be the ones to try to do an aggro try with a Witch Doctor, a Troll, and a Tusk.
Empire, when they pick the Axe, always put a lot of emphasis on getting Yoki a lot of farm, a good timing on his Blink Dagger, his Tranquils, and all that. And I think that's partly why they went for that smoke, because they smoked in the enemy jungle, didn't put any wards down to block camps. They did end up getting that ward near the pool camp, but they were looking more than anything for a first blood. They wanted to get off to a good start and also make sure that they can try get a lane for Yoki where he's not going to struggle to get farm. They don't play him as an offlaner like a 3-position hero. They want him to be one of their big playmakers.
They tend to not do that in general. They like to prioritize that farm. As we mentioned a couple times, they're a team that will move into the jungle sooner than a lot of other offlaners if they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Not afraid to sacrifice to secure their own farm, and sometimes sacrificing that early lane for securing the mid game is just a higher priority. But I do like the synergy here. Snowball already leveled up by Aloha Dance, so I would expect this troll to be hopping in there with those whirling axes pretty damn often.
So Witch Doctor is going to swing down bottom lane, get a dual lane for Yoki on the Axe. We kind of saw NIP do something similar. They put the Axe on the safe lane and did the off lane PA, and I'd say that game all in all worked out pretty well for them, despite having a carry in the off lane, not getting much farm. But Empire do the adjustment where it's a dual lane, so they're going to secure Silent a bit more here. Troll in general, really hard to kill because of the whirling axes especially, and also just being a fairly tanky hero. So I feel like this laning step for Empire is really strong.
Yeah, definitely. Witch Doctor, a little indecisive. Yeah, headed down bottom. Now Always Want to Fly, walking back up to the top lane. Axe should be able to do just fine against the Brewmaster. Any kind of melee on melee setup, Axe is just the king of the castle on that front.
Yeah, it seems he maybe thought Lion was going to be bottom in the dual lane because they only saw the Wraith King. Snowball in top.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Initiation already. Phobos hit by the snowball. Ranged axes. The cask bouncing through. Almost a first blood onto Phobos, but Lil Hardy there with the stun. Pushes back Silent, and, well, no blood shed quite yet, but Empire will become the victors as they force out a healing salve already.
They've got... That cost them almost no mana at all.
Bottom, Yoki hoping for RNG on Mag. No, not going to find the kill, but, well, showing him who's boss.
Yep. Yeah, this top lane, all three, like they just used one cast, one snowball, and one, ranged whirling axe throw. So very little mana spended, and for the Asus.Polar side, they had to throw a Wraith Fire Blast, which is half of Wraith King's mana.
Nice stun from FNG on two, but now the snowball in. Beautifully done. First blood's drawn. Mid lane here up top. Now we're going to see Always Want to Fly go down. Silent charging on in. Whirling Axe is doing a lot of damage to FNG. Stun on two. Beautifully done. Aloha Dance forced to back out. Asus.Polar kiting them around like crazy, and they will stay alive despite being low on health. So mid lane, actually not quite done yet. Lil Hardy gets reinitiated on. Snowball forward once more. The troll with the whirling axes. Will they dive this? Sunstrike flies through, secures the kill. Silent gets one up on the scoreboard.
What great coordination and team play from both teams in that top fight engage. Resolution, though, dying solo to the Illidan Warlock. What a disaster for him.
Oh, my. And I was not expecting that as the fight was breaking out. He's got 2 points in the Shadow Word, 1 point in the stats. And I'm not sure what happened.
Illidan's been entirely focusing on harass, less so the last hits, because 9-5 CS to Resolution. Illidan's behind with 6-3, so it seems Illidan's just been, like, manning up, kind of looking to pressure Resolution more than focus on his own farm, which is... I mean, he got the first blood, so from that point of view, it's well worth it. But as far as CS goes, he needs to make sure he doesn't fall behind on farm.
Yep, Dire side, a little light on vision. You see Tusk starting to make a rotation mid, but will back out and head back towards the top lane. Silent continuing to contest the pull camp here. Dire did put a lane ward down, and so far hasn't helped them out too much. Empire have been taking the fight to them outside of ward vision.
It spotted out like the one snowball nice and early, but... You see this, just because you see the snowball, it still comes down fast and nothing much you can do about it.
Yep.
So
the lane momentum just too deep into the Dire side. So
the big concern for me with the Asus.Polar lane step is Zeus getting very little XP. He's level 2.5, 3.5 minutes in. Normally this would be the stage where he's like level 4, level 4.5 in the mid lane, but getting low XP on a Zeus is problematic. He does generally go for the Midas build, but...
Another snowball forward. This time they want FNG. Whirling Axe's stun on 3, but the Sunstrike flies through, and they should be able to secure that kill on line. That cast doing a lot of work as Lil Hardy tries to TP home, but hey, that won't happen, buddy. It's a 2-for-0 in the top. Empire making great use out of this aggro tri-lane.
It's been a while since we've seen an Exort Invoker. He's manning up once again on Illidan. Who's coming out on top? It looks like the Warlock, who takes a tower shot, though. Illidan and Resolution. Who's going to win? Illidan! Another kill!
Wow, 2 solo kills in the mid lane. Illidan almost level 6 already. A little light on CS 9 and 7, but 2 and 1. Kind of making up for it.
Yeah. Resolution just kind of a panic mode there. He thought he was manning up, and then he saw him, then he was backing off, and then he saw the tower. He's like, oh, I've got this, but not the case. Bottom lane goes FNG with a smoke, though.
Yep, Yoki getting a lot of momentum here. The last hit leader by a big margin.
But this is the level 6 Brewmaster timing. Really smart time to bring your support down here.
One more Clap kill. He's going to get it. Clap to start it off. There's the split. Yoki on the run. Uses the call for the extra armor. FNG only level 2, but stun hex should be all they need. Yoki in trouble. Will go down. Spin to win will not be enough as the Brewmaster secures the kill. Another solo kill mid. He drops the Golem and Resolution. Oh, boy. Talk about being on the back foot, David Parker.
Rectolution.
Just glancing at net worth. Even though Illidan was light on CS, now number 1 on net worth. The Invoker at point with the Tusk. That's how far he's been shut down, even with these Sunstrikes helping secure kills in other lanes.
He's won them the tri-lane up top, but that shouldn't come at the cost of the mid lane. The mid lane is an entirely separate issue. This is just... kills that should not be happening. It is a tough matchup. And end of the day, Illidan went for a very early game centric. Null Talisman even got the Bassi ring on top of it. But Invoker shouldn't die. End of the day, it's 1v1. Nothing came out of... there was no support ganks, no smokes, nothing like that. You can't afford to have this happen.
Troll, he goes into those phase boots early on. It's still Empire with a very minor gold lead in this game. It's just about zeroed out now with those last few kills updating on the gold graph.
That chaotic offering caught Illidan up on farm. He sent it to the Radiant jungle, farmed the medium camp as well as half of the big camp. So that actually gets him a nice chunk of gold.
Yoki initiated on here in the bottom lane. Goes for the rune and will actually be able to pick it up. Berserker's call flies through. FNG gets dunked. The Sunstrike not even going to be needed. Now, snowball in. Mag without mana. No blink. Nowhere to go. Aloha Dance throws out the ice shards. Now has a frozen sigil to try and slow him down, but they don't have the damage, and they will have to back on out. Illidan looking for some extra farm here. Once the sigil, will find it for an extra 90 gold bounty.
That's one of the things with the sigil. Even level 1 sigil, 90 gold is a lot. In the early game especially.
That's a good chunk. Meanwhile, in the top lane, though, Silent secures the tier 1 tower kill, gets the last hit himself, so his farm still pretty decent. Actually now surpassing the Warlock, so not all bad news for Empire despite Resolution getting put down.
Yeah, and even Yoki, he dies to that level 6 timing from the Brewmaster, which is kind of one of those things which is just bound to happen eventually, but he's still got 600 gold. He's still looking at a decent timing on this Blink Dagger, and then he can look to help out. His first move is probably going straight mid. Let's kill Illidan.
No.
Although they're looking to do that without him.
Yeah, look at this. Tusk with phase boots. He gets a smoke delivered. They put this lane ward down, giving them a lot of intel to the lane. And to me, that says we need to shut down Illidan, and we need to do it fast.
Yep. Well, phase null. Magic Wand. See if he goes for the Midas that March likes to go for, like the Midas Ags Refresh, or sometimes you just see straight Aghanims. But often keeping up and getting those big late-game Refresher-like items is hard without the Midas.
Phobos making initiated on here as Aloha Dance comes cruising on in. Phobos just with brown boots. Going to be hard to get away from this one as Aloha Dance has the phases up already. Ice Shard, Snowball, Frozen Sigils down. Does he actually have the damage to find this kill? Sunstrike will be off the mark. Aloha Dance stunned up by Lil Hardy. And that'll be the end of that exchange. Now in the bottom lane, you're going to see initiation onto Yoki. Beautiful stun from FNG on 2. Split from the Brew. Isolates the Witch Doctor. And now Yoki turned into a little fishy. They're going to try to carve him up. Can they actually bring him down? They'll have another boulder toss here. Yoki with a Berserker's Call. A bit of extra armor. A TP in from the Invoker. Will he get here in time to save the Axe? Just barely. Mag now goes back into Brew form. He's going to be punished.
Wow. 10 stick charges. Yoki barely surviving that one. Oh, Asus.Polar, if they got that kill before the Axe Blink Dagger, it would have been a huge pick-off, and I can see why they went for it, but they just didn't have the damage. I think even without the Invoker, he was going to just barely live on 50 HP because of those 10 stick charges.
Yeah, he did a great job trying to isolate that Witch Doctor, but the Voodoo Restoration doesn't get disabled when you're caught in that Cyclone once you have it activated.
Well, Vlad's now purchased for your Troll Warlord. Very early game-centric build for Silent. FaZe, Vlad's with a Magic Wand. They realize this is a game where a lot of aggression's coming their way.
And all of a sudden, it's Empire with nearly a 3,000 gold, 2,000 experience lead. We've been talking about this mid-game a lot, but the bottom is where it's really making a difference for Empire. Axe just moments away from his Blink Dagger as he moves into the jungle and way ahead of that Brewmaster.
All right, there's your Blink timing. Should look to maybe pick up a smoke and go for that Batrider-like Blink smoke gank with your first pickup. Yeah. Mentioned Illidan being the target, but he's actually swung top lane. So they're giving him the lane where it's kind of safer farm, but they want to make sure Phobos is getting solo XP, and he's looking to catch up mid. But
mid lane, Snowball forward into the Ice Shards. Okay. The TP in will deter them as FNG joins the party.
All right. Nice scare, force a TP. That's still worth. You get good information as far as what's going on there.
Now bottom lane, Yoki showing off the Blink Dagger, goes on to Mag. He's on his way in, and oh, shit. Yeah. All right. Pardon me 1 second here.
Apologies to you Dota TV viewers. We'll get the things all sorted.
Hello,
there.
Dota TV. Sorry about that. We are all clear now. So back into this game. Looks like we didn't miss anything as we were tabbed out there. But Empire really getting a lot of momentum. Looking at that net worth chart, it's Illidan that's the saving grace for Asus.Polar. Everyone else kind of in Strug City. Zeus with arcane boots, but not much else to his name. Still very susceptible to ganks. And you've got this Brewmaster who's just getting ganked, or only died twice, but halfway to that Blink Dagger at the 10-minute mark will not be controlling too many tempos here.
Yeah, these side lanes just did not respect the power of the Sunstrike. I think in that top tri-lane versus tri-lane, that's where things really went wrong for Asus.Polar. They had some kind of good exchanges, but now we're going to see Illidan caught out in the jungle. The Observer Ward spotting him, and
smoke into a Snowball. Another stun from FNG, only connects on one. The Death Ward focusing down the line as the cast bounce to him. They get the kill on Illidan. FNG isolated in the back. Mag on his way in, has a Primal Split, but just can't initiate into it.
Yoki.
And it'll be an easy pick. Yoki with the Blink ready. Can he find someone to initiate on? Nope. Asus.Polar retreating near to their tier 3s.
They'll find some stacks, though. Just a double stack, but still any farm taken away from the Asus.Polar side is damage done at this point, and also going to just get Empire better farming efficiency and an even bigger lead for themselves.
Resolution appearing to go for that Hand of Midas on the Exort Invoker. Very standard stuff, and we'll have a decent timing despite that really slow start. And now the road to recovery. Only 1,500 net worth behind the Warlock, and that Midas will be out here in just a moment.
So for Asus.Polar, I feel like the Wraith King pick especially has been very low impact, and possibly like the weak point of this draft. Lion's done a lot ganking the side lanes and making plays happen. This Wraith King has been a kind of non-factor.
Smoke from Asus.Polar to defend their tier 1 mid. They've still got a Glyph. And
no rock. They can't kind of break the gap and get in. They've got no blink initiators, no blink on Mag, and while this is going on,
bottom they get a kill. I'm hearing Russians in my headset. I'm not sure if you are either, but I'm hearing Velat yelling at me in the background. I don't know if that's coming out on stream. Hopefully our producer can tend to it. Or it's just on my end. But yeah, another one up on the scoreboard here for Empire as they get further and further ahead now, upwards of 5,000 gold and experience for the Radiant.
Well, there's your Midas timing, and at this point, Resolution doesn't even have to come to the fights too much. The Axe, Troll, Warlord are kind of the two bruisers right now. Empire can fight us 4 while Resolution farms his Necro 3, which it looks like he will be going for with this Belter Giant Strength pickup. So he's just going to be solo pressuring the bottom lane, hoping that he doesn't get ganked, but without a Blink Dagger on Brew or Wraith King, and the only way he dies is a smoke gank from the supports or a Warlock dropping a Chaotic Offering, and either of those is ends up being a decent trade for Empire because they're making plays happen elsewhere on the map.
Silent finds the last hit on that Tier 1 tower in the mid lane with the battle trance. Now they'll take the fight. Whirling Axes fly through. FNG could be the first to go down. Chaotic Offering breaks things up, but the Snowball mitigating some of it. Lil Hardy and FNG low. They'll trade the Troll away. Also lose the Witch Doctor. Aloha Dance now on the run as he uses that Walrus Punch. It'll be a 2 for 3 going the way of the Dire as the Chaotic Offering and the Brew split secure them a victorious team fight.
Yeah, I think this is a decent plays to be made for Empire, but I'm not sure why they're doing this without the Axe. I think fighting as 4 while Resolution pressures bottom and farms is great, but that was fighting as 3. They're missing the so important Axe, who seem to be looking for a gank on the bottom lane or just farming up the jungle.
Yeah, he's so crucial to control these fights. The Berserker's Call just to stop them from getting the spells off when they want to, and of course the Dunk to actually finish off some of those low heroes there. We see the Midas out on Illidan, so he'll follow suit with the Invoker to make some recovery farm and start making strides towards that Aghanim Scepter.
That was a big fight for Asus.Polar to win. Not just the Midas, I think more importantly Mag's Blink Dagger. A lot of levels in XP going like the way of Phobos' Zeus, who now hits level 7, so a big kind of turnaround as far as Asus.Polar reaching some core items. Smoke, though, at Phobos. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're going to bump right into him. He's low on mana. Whirling Axes, Snowball forward, and this will be an easy one for Empire. Not going to find any other pickoffs here in the jungle, but continuing to keep on the aggression and not allow this Zeus any space to farm. He's still down below the Tusk.
Yeah,
that's their safe lane farmer.
This is rough.
Well, Empire still continuing to pressure these towers, utilizing that battle trance very well. One of the best things about the Trolls, you can take these team fights and then secure objectives so easily by flash pushing towers. They do have a glyph and could make a hold. We see Lil Hardy already in the tree line here, but
no ultis, no split, no Warlock Chaotic Offering, and I think without either of those spells, Asus.Polar, they kind of have to fight around these long cooldowns.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues with Warlock, is that ultimate is a very long cooldown, a very potent ultimate, but you can fight around it. He's working on that Ag's point booster up as Empire move into the tier 2 top, continue to pressure, they force out the glyph, and will indeed secure this tower kill. Asus.Polar hoping to pressure the tier 1 bottom, but actually not even going to get to it before their tier 2 top falls.
Yeah. They get the ward down though, so use the kind of, just get some kind of observer advantage out of this bottom lane and Radiant jungle, so they can make it a bit safer for Illidan to farm and pressure, but the damage on the top, Empire come out well on top.
Aloha Dance getting aggressive in the top, scouts out Lil Hardy and just holding the high ground. We see some pings in the bottom lane.
Aloha Dance going for a straight max sigil build. Normally you often see something a bit more well-rounded, like a few points in Snowball, a few in the sigil, but straight to the max sigil, and with the amount they're fighting and pushing, it's great for scouting. You can't really kill it easily because it slows the attack speed by such a big margin in the early game where no one has attack speed, so it's actually a really cool build that he's pulled out here.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Shards don't really scale particularly well. It's just damage, and that's not something they're light on right now. They're really using that ability for the control, and I see why they want that sigil. It's hard to run away as a team when you've got that little snowball chasing you. Empire rotating down to the bottom lane. They will defend this tier 1 tower if Asus.Polar continue to hang around. Yoki's on the way in. Aloha Dance hiding in the tree line, starting things off with the sigil. Here we go. Snowball forward. Brewmaster comes in with the split. Ultimate from Zeus, but they're going to try to focus FNG. Yoki actually, pump fakes the Axe ultimate. A 1-for-1 out of the gate. They'll isolate the Invoker. It's not looking so good for Asus.Polar here, Parker. They're on the back foot, and Empire, they're going to chase him down. The sigil falls, but is it going to be worth it? I don't think so. Illidan goes down. Yoki blinks forward. There's the dunk on Little Hardy, and it'll be a 1-for-3 trade as Empire hold their tower and take a successful team fight.
Yeah, they stopped the first dunk from Yoki, which kind of, I don't know, it didn't save the fight. They got a 3-for-1 there, but if that first dunk went off, that would have been even worse. You get those kills quicker, you possibly get a 4th or a 5th.
Yep.
That first dunk just leads to the snowball, but even so, Asus.Polar, with ultis up, couldn't win a team fight, and now they're on cooldown. 90 seconds on Brewmaster, 2 minutes on Warlock. They're going to lose tier 2 towers. They're going to lose Roshan off of this.
Snowball forward. They want FNG. They'll find him. Walrus punch to the face. Silent trying to make sure he doesn't get stunned. The blink dunk from Yoki. Mag on his way in. Connects with a thunderclap, but out comes the taunt. Axe again with another dunk. An unstoppable streak for Yoki as Empire tearing over Asus.Polar in the first game of this best-of-5 series.
Holy moly. This is Empire team looks just crazy good right now. The versatility, these new picks coming out like the Tusk. I think Asus.Polar, for one thing, we're expecting a Quaz Wex Invoker when the Invoker got picked up, but obviously Resolution more known for his X Invoker, but it's been all about the Quaz Invoker.
Yoki in once more onto Illidan, the snowball forward. Walrus punch to secure the kill. Empire get another one, and this tier 2 tower. Only one outer tower remaining for Asus.Polar. Empire, how do you stop this momentum now, Parker? They are getting out of control, nearly 12,000 gold in their favor, and they move right into the Roche pit.
Vision is going to be key for the Asus.Polar side. They need to be able to farm wherever they can. They're farming the top lane in their own jungle. They need to get wards up. They need to de-ward as much as possible. If Empire have vision of where Asus.Polar are farming, they're going to keep going for these snowball ganks. Even without smokes, I think they've gone through all their smokes except one here. They've used 3 already this game and to great effect.
Yeah, the Troll's going to be the one to take the Aegis of the Immortal. Goes for a Sanj and Yasha after the Vladimir's offering. Only 17 minutes in. So much value in the S&Y here. It gives him just a little bit of everything, a lot of damage, a lot of movement speed, and helps beef him up. We'll see the Invoker go right into a Necro Book to go with those Forged Spirits. More units to knock down these towers that much more quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be a very hard hold for Asus.Polar. They have one fight kind of in them that has to go well. This split plus Chaotic Offering. Brewmaster desperately wants his level 11, which he's only 150 XP away from, so he'll get that before Asus.Polar take another fight, unless Empire force the issue, which it doesn't look like they're doing right now.
Yeah, Illidan was just off to such a good start, and now getting knocked down a few rungs on that net worth chart. We'll see an invisibility rune on Aloha Dance on the high ground, scouts it out a little bit, sees a little Hardy in the front lines, and Empire will start to back out. They don't have their whole team here. Troll is in the bottom lane. He's the Aegis carrier, and they do not want to take a fight without him.
No, possibly going to see a pick-off here. Lil does have his reincarnation.
And FNG going to be holding the high ground. Asus.Polar, they know they need to be careful here. Like you mentioned, all these smoke ganks, they will stay as a 5-man squad. Silent running through the mid.
They've got Zeus, and like they've done what they can to de-ward, but there's a lot more wards that have not been touched here. Phobos needs to find this ward. They're going to check the spot near the neutral camp, but they miss it. These pesky ward spots, I think...
Yeah. This is Radiant Vision we have right now. They know exactly where Asus.Polar are.
I don't know if this bolt on the big... I think he bolted the big clip, but it doesn't reach where this ward is. This ward... The wards have been basically planted to avoid getting de-warded. Sure, this isn't the optimal spot, but it gives you vision.
Yep. Here we go. Initiation. Mag going to get jumped on by Yoki. He'll go down. He misses the dunk, but they still find the kill. Silent zoning out the rest of Asus.Polar by himself, using that Aegis Immortal to much avail. Goes it on to FNG, the Chaotic Offering, but is it going to be enough? It slows down Empire. And it's just not going to be enough here, Parker. Wraith King goes down. Lion falls. Now the snowball onto Illidan. He's on the run. Ice Shards lock him in place. Walrus Punch again for good measure. A 4-0. Asus.Polar might be forced to tap out early.
They need the only way they stood a chance to even get an even trade there was with Split and Chaotic Offering. They only had the Chaotic Offering. With Brewmaster getting picked off at the start of the fight, Empire knew, regardless of how many ultis they threw at him, they win the fight. Chaotic Offering alone was not going to do enough for Asus.Polar.
Yeah, there's a buyback available for Warlock, but without the Chaotic Offering, only so much you can do. Brewmaster has respawned. You mentioned the Split is still here, but will that be enough?
He's level 1 ulti. He still doesn't have level 11, actually.
Oh, he's 23 experience short. Now the Split, but the snowball to mitigate some of it. The stuns from Asus.Polar, focusing resolution. Another stun from FNG. Empire trying to disengage a little bit. They burn the Aegis, and now Silent, full health, full mana, goes charging in, finds a kill onto the Lion. Lil Hardy, hit by the Whirling Axe, is going to be forced to disengage. Mag as well as he goes back into the Brew form. Fatal Bonds from Illidan. The dunk now onto the Wraith King. He'll have the ultimate. Reincarnation brings him back to life. Now they turn to the Brew. Walrus Punch, more Whirling Axes. They lose their Tusk, and I think Empire may need to make the Exodus now. Yoki taking some damage. Zeus bursting him down, gets stunned by the Wraith King. Yoki falls, and finally Asus.Polar get some recovery as they pick off a few of the Empire stragglers.
Yep. Careful of these Sunstrikes. Brewmaster could be on... Actually, yeah, just enough damage. Now he's above the threshold, but Asus.Polar, they hold onto a ranged Rex. They lose the melee. End of the day, they don't really get a very good trade. That's not even remotely good for them, losing a Rex this early on against a team that's just going to come at you once more.
Exactly. They didn't burn any buybacks there, so there's something to be said for that, but... 21 minutes, melee barracks down, you're in a little bit of trouble. Lion, just look how poor FNG is. Brown boots, 2 gauntlets of strength, and that is it. 900 net worth. He's still in the triple digits.
Asus.Polar just so... when you're this far behind and you've got these 4 heroes who have really long cooldowns on their ultimates, which is the only way you can fight, Empire can just go fight, have an even trade, and then just go for round 2 when those ultis are on cooldown. Reincarnation, Finger, Split, everything with a massive cooldown.
Silent going on to Lil Hardy up top, tries to TP out, but there's the Walrus Punch from Aloha Dance, showing off that new Blink Dagger.
Yep.
Yoki Blink Dagger at the ready, hops over the ravine, looking for some initiation, goes on to FNG, gets hexed right away, but now the cavalry has arrived. Mag goes flying in, but he doesn't have an ultimate. No split means the Lion goes down, Mag stunned, hit by the Death Ward. There's the Chaotic Offering. There is an Aghanim, so there's double Golems, but they've already lost the Brewmaster. It's a 3-0 already. Illidan falls, and at this point, the Golems just don't do enough damage. BKB from Silent has come out. He's a little bit low, but he'll survive. Snowball to mitigate any extra damage. A 4-0 trade as Empire secure the last outer tower of Asus.Polar.
Even killing off the Golems for some extra cash and extra experience, and looks like they may try and poker the high ground here. Range tracks at top got taken out by the creep wave in the meantime, and I don't know if they'll get this mid-Rax here. There is a 15 seconds on Brewmaster. He'll have split when he comes back up, but at least a tier 3 tower and possibly more. If Yoku can find a blink call on someone, get a pick off, turn it into just a numbers game as far as heroes go, then you're looking really good.
Tier 3 tower goes down. Glyph's already been used. Phobos trying to do what little chip damage he can. Has a Yule Scepter, but recognizing that if they jump on him, there's little he can do to survive. The melee barracks very low. One more axe from the Troll, and then a few of those auto attacks from the Forged Spirits. Finish it off, and again, Empire happy to get the melee barracks, and then back on out without taking a single casualty. Troll Warlord picking up a defusal.
Yeah. Take out one of the Infernal. At this point, there's 2 rocks, so you can only really get rid of one right off the bat. But hey, it's just a big chunk of Asus.Polar's damage end of the day. Yep. Silent doesn't need anything else as far as items go. Could have maybe gone for a Skadi if he wanted to tank up and go for that like really big frontline carry type hero, but as far as he's concerned, there's no items he desperately needs to make his team able to win the next fight. So Diffusal, as good as anything.
Yeah, Blink Dagger up on Resolution now, so the Invoker with a little extra range. The Diffusal also great against the Wraith King. Lil Hardy, not with a lot of stats right now, very small mana pool, so Troll with those very fast auto attacks, there's a chance he'll burn some of that mana.
Yeah.
Maybe the Reincarnation
depending on how Lil plays. If he throws a lot of stuns, he's actually gone. I just noticed this. Lil's gone for a level 1 Wraithfire Blast build, maxing out the Vampiric Aura. Who's lifestealing this game? I'm confused. You've got this heavy lifesteal game. No one's dealing damage.
It's not Zeus. It's definitely not Lion. They're not auto attacking.
Is it the Golems? Like,
it's not really Warlock either. Yeah, he just wants to drop his spells and just live.
And not to mention, the Sigil is negating a huge portion of any physical damage. The Brewmaster split is doing a whole lot less damage. Everything on this Asus.Polar side is all about the nuke damage, and that's where this build from Wraith King makes little to no sense in this game, especially against the Tusk Snowball and just against everything Empire's doing. You need magic damage.
Smoke from Asus.Polar on a couple of their heroes. Lil Hardy will be in the front line looking at Radiant Vision. They only see the Wraith King. They don't see the smoked heroes yet. There isn't a glyph, so this tier 3 tower falling pretty quickly. Necro units in the front lines. Empire showing some respect here with a lot of heroes off the map. They know that there could be a smoke, maybe a rotation from the backside, and they'll stay safe. Mag comes in. Thunderclap does not connect on too many.
Oh, no.
Tries to get off the split, but he gets stunned. Still manages to get it off. The Chaotic Offering comes out, but they've already killed Illidan. They get the kill on Invoker. He'll buy back. Now Aloha Dance goes down as Lil Hardy gets aggressive. FNG brought down by Silent. Phobos taunt and decapitated. Lil Hardy will not have the mana for Reincarnation, and this Dire side getting cleaned up. Their last bit of buybacks coming out. Ultra kill for Silent as Asus.Polar tap out in game number 1 after only 25 minutes. Oh boy.
Complete rout.
Domination.
What a performance from Empire. Getting the Troll Axe, they were just like, sweet. The Axe, they always make sure he has a lane where he can farm, and Troll is an amazing hero to have in an offensive trial lane as well. Fighting this hero in an offensive trial lane, very difficult. Wraith King not leveling up the stun. You've also got the Sunstriking Invoker from mid lane. Resolution, while his laning as far as the 1v1 went, was a disaster going 0-3. The Sunstrikes at top were the difference maker as far as winning that top lane. Yeah, and it more than made up for it. The Troll got so much momentum. He killed that tower so early on. Silent ending that game 11-1 and 14. 729 GPM in only 25 minutes with a lot of structures still standing. Very, very impressive. Got to ban that Troll, perhaps. I don't. It was definitely the thing all of us here are like, what 2 heroes you ban? It's Wisp and Troll. Yeah. Unless your first pick, then you can leave the Wisp in there, of course. Could pick it up yourself, but leaving Troll was the big problem.
Was it only the Troll? I mean, I feel like Tusk was such a smart pick here. Asus.Polar, you looked at that draft and you go, wow, Warlock works so well. And Tusk mitigated a lot of damage. He was that initiator, and it seemed like there was just no answer to that snowball.
Tusk played a huge role this game. I got to say, Aloha Dance showcasing how this hero can be played to full potential, and Empire once again showing their versatility. I mean, it's their second time picking Invoker, but the first time it was Quasar X. This time it's the Exod Invoker with a Tusk, with a Troll offensive trial lane. Everything about this team just screams perfection right now.
The mass exodus here as the Asus.Polar fans leave the venue. It's like
it's like your team's down 20 points in the last quarter, and you're like,
well, better beat the traffic. Let's get out of here. No, probably just going for a smoke break. Actually, a lot of the venue is piecing out here. It's a little startling.
I'm sure they'll be coming back in.
I'm sure.
I got high hopes.
Being a bit facetious here, but
this series is not over, Andrew.
It's not over.
I'm full confidence Asus.Polar have a plan B. Not to say this isn't going to be a 3-0, but Asus.Polar definitely are going to look at this. They went a bit different. They went for the Warlock. I'm sure they have something else planned for the next game.
Definitely. FNG, the master drafter behind the scenes. We're going to have a break, folks, and then coming up will be the second match of this best-of-5 series. Empire 1 game away from securing first place in the Starladder Season 11 Grand Finals. Stick around because the conclusion to today's coverage is right around the corner.
Starladder Season 12 starts in February. Along with the Dota TV ticket, you'll get a set on Starladder, which includes a new hero face, changed weapon with luminous effects, and 2 alternate skins of your choice. On the store very soon. 12th season, Starladder TV.
Esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. Esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.